What's going on, everybody? We're back again with you tonight for another podcast edition of The Questionable Perspective. I'm your host, FGC Chris, here with my co host, Mr. phdjeshua. How are you doing
Yo,
tonight, sir?
pretty good, pretty good. How about you, sir?
Doing well, doing well. A little bit under the weather, so I might not be talking as much. I might have to take some breaks to get some water, but I'm going to just push through.
Sorry, folks. That was Chris's bones brittling.
Yeah, because definitely getting to be an old man. So we hate to start the show off with something like this, but we have to basically talk about the some sad news. As you probably already know, two legends in the game pretty much passed away in the last couple of weeks. Mr. Carl Weathers and Toby Keith, both who are probably so influential within their genres, that one within country music, the other within acting. And it kind of just came out of nowhere, honestly, because I think I woke up to the news of Carl Weathers, and then I think I was at work when I found when Toby Keith happened.
And it was quite, man, it was quite shocking, honestly, to hear about Toby Keith. I didn't know he was battling cancer. I guess he kept it pretty quiet.
Yeah, he kind of did the same thing as Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to discuss it, but I never heard how Mr. Carl passed away. I assume it was just natural causes.
Look, I never heard anything else. That's what I'm thinking. It just was natural cause. But I kind of know Toby Keith through osmosis of just pop culture in general.
Right.
I've never been really. I have not been really a country music fan like that. There's some stuff I like, but I knew of him.
That's
But
understandable. I know a bunch of people back in high school when I took ag classes. That was all you would ever hear is like country music, and like the number one artist at the time was like Toby Keith.
'cause I know when I was in high school, I think was it Garth Brooks?
And
It might
Garth
have
Brooks
been
was
Garth.
popular too back then.
Yeah, but it definitely kind of come like really the last couple of years. It kind of been like some surprising people have passed away. Uh, Especially when it comes to Carl Weathers. Like I'm more familiar with him just because I'm really more so of a movie buff.
Oh, we both
From it,
are. That
yeah,
man
from
playing Apollo Creed back in the first Rocky.
yeah,
Now you'll have to refresh my memory on this one because it's been a while since I watched all the Rocky movies. He reprised his role as Apollo Creed, I believe, when the Russian popped up and he
yeah,
tried to take him on, and the Russian just killed Apollo Creed.
yeah. That was the way he came back to do that. Yeah, came back to do that movie right there.
Was that three or
And
four?
I think that was four because three, yeah, it's four because three was Mr. T.
Ah, okay.
And I mean, you got probably to be one of his most iconic roles outside of Apollo Creed was the Predator movie.
Yeah, that was also one of his biggest roles. Predator movie, first one.
And
Just
he
walking
was
up to
like,
Arnold and him were like, "You son of a bitch." That was, if I remember correctly, that was just all improv.
it looked like that. Yeah, you can tell like he was in his prime then
Bro,
because
him
he
and
was.
Arnold were fucking jacked back in the day. Nuts.
And he was still acting even up till his passing because he was just in the Mandalorian. That was
Yeah.
probably like the last thing he was in.
Yeah, that was one of his last big roles. He did a couple of video games here and there. I just can't remember which ones. Man,
Yeah, but Apollo Creed is his most iconic role.
I
'Cause that's
think. Go ahead, continue.
I'm about to say, 'cause that's the character that everybody remember. Really more so just 'cause for him, the death scene he had in the Rocky Four. That was probably like the one that sticks with everybody the most. And
Yeah.
then basically them kind of continuing the legacy with the Creed movies.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at this now to see if he was in there
Which one, the Creed movie?
and just in the very first one.
I think they, if I remember correct, I think they talk about him. They talk about him and they show maybe like old footage of him from the Rocky movies, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The most he gets talked about is in the second movie when Adonis fights Drago's son.
It's
And
crazy how they continued that, but I mean, they were good movies.
the last one not so much, but
I mean, what was it, Creed 3? I mean, it didn't need a sequel, but it wasn't bad. It was a lot better than a lot of some of the other movies that came out at the time.
no, it wasn't bad. It just I didn't like how they kind of sped up his arc. It's like we're in the third movie and he's like already retired and not boxing anymore. Like, wait a minute, why can he even start boxing until like the fifth or sixth movie?
Something like
I don't know.
that.
I don't know. We have to see what they do with the future of that franchise.
I feel like it's one of
Especially,
those. Oh, go ahead.
I said, especially with Arnold Schwarzenegger, not Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, basically not willing to come back.
I feel they pretty much did what they needed to do because I, it just doesn't feel like there's much more story to tell because they did the Offsprings. I think it's just best to let them just be the classic movies they need to be.
Yeah, just leave it as a trilogy.
Don't want to do like try to do like Rocky 10 or something. Dear God, it's probably do too many sequels.
Tell Vin Diesel that.
Don't make me. I will. I damn well. On a side note, I did watch Fast and Furious X. My God.
Yeah, me and
Uh,
my wife watched it. We were laughing the whole time.
I just I'm trying not to segue too much, but what's his name? He played as Aquaman. What's his name?
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa playing the villain. I was like, this might be cool. No, he is like the textbook cartoon villain where he's telling like not to spoil too much, but he's like telling the two nerds he killed or whatever, like just giving like little just painting their toenails and everything. You guys finish your mojito, someone will be here quickly. We'll come by to bury you guys. I'm just like, huh? Excuse me? What
Like,
insanity?
you don't
Hmm.
like that? You don't like the wacky, insane, I'm crazy
Uh,
villain.
Listen, I've had enough Jokers in my lifetime. I don't need another one. Anyways, um, speaking of just movies in general, though, some of y'all might have known about this anime movie called Gundam Seed Freedom. Sat in production or hiatus for about 16 years. Well,
18.
18? Excuse me, 18. Sorry, I'm a little lost there. It reached approximately as of today, it's reached 2.1 billion yen in the box office. For us Americans, that would be about a million and 700 tickets sold. Don't ask me the price tickets because the exchange rate between dollar and yen is so god awful right now. But Mr. Chris, how do you feel about this achievement?
I'm not really surprised. The Gundams, if you really look at like the Bandai sales charts when it comes to like model kits and stuff like that, Gundam Seed is still really outselling a lot of the newer stuff. And like it was probably Gundam Seed was probably the most popular Gundam series of all of them, and that's including the original OG series. Like their fans are rabid. So I was not really too surprised that it made that much. I was surprised that it made almost like 1 point something in the first weekend. That kind of surprised me. But honestly, the people have been waiting for that movie because, like you said, it's been in development hell for like 18 years.
I just sat in hiatus because I swear I need to I probably need to look up half these names before, but I mean the Arthur, she passed away.
Yeah,
That's why I just
her,
sat there.
yeah, and her husband pretty much finished the whole movie. I think it's Fukuda.
I think so. Some of the comments
Yeah,
can correct us.
yeah. Which I know why he did it because he basically like he wanted to finish what him and his wife started and basically put a closing book in to the cosmic era. Which after seeing this kind of money, I doubt Bandai is just gonna just stop with the cosmic era.
You're right. I don't think they will, but I mean, I think Gundam Seed ending is probably where they're going to stop with their Gundam. Gundam Seed Freedom is where they're going to stop with the Gundam Seed universe, anyways.
But they still have the movie. It's not the movie, but they still have the Eclipse series going on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they still have a manga series. Like there's like other stuff going on inside the Seed universe. Like he for Kuda Bandai ain't never said they wanted to end it. He said this is the tail. He said this is the end of the series. And I'm like, you can say that all you want to. If Bandai say we're gonna make more Gundam Seed stuff, they're gonna make more Gundam Seed.
I don't know. I'm.
And
Go ahead.
and for what I've seen, because I have spoiled myself on certain things, I can see why this movie is making so much money. It's like you can tell like they went just all out with the mobile suit battles in this movie are freaking insane.
The designs for some of the mobile suits are nuts. Good lord, seeing the kits they've released. Whew.
What do you I don't want to spoil nothing. I'm just
There
gonna
ain't
say
nothing to
this.
spoil. I've just seen what the model kits look like.
I'm just well, I'm already gonna say this. We get to see a surprise of two original Gundams from the first Gundam Seed return as upgraded models.
Ooh.
And that's like, it's because it's kind of weird because I don't because I'm trying not to spoil stuff for people.
They don't.
It's
Uh,
like I say, if I had to say anything, this is probably going to be the most exciting scene. Even though I can basically tell you the basic plot of the movie. It's basically a continuation of Gundam Seed Destiny. Basically, that's it.
which is
Because
fine.
because the main villain in this movie is Durandal.
Hmm.
Yeah, because for don't ask me how, because I don't know, but just through watching the long blonde haired dude that you see dancing with Lacus,
Mm-hmm.
that is Durandal's clone.
Oh God, more clones, more Char clones. Just what we need. Oh well,
Yeah. So he's right back on that same plan that he had from Gundam Seed Destiny.
great.
But it definitely, if you're a Gundam fan, if you're a Seed fan, you're going to be extremely satisfied with this movie. I
Oh,
wish I could tell y'all more, but I don't want to spoil nothing for nobody. I don't want to take. I've seen a whole bunch of stuff that, even though I've seen it, I'm still going to be happy to see it in the full context of what's going on.
oh, definitely. I'm sure we'll get a Fathom events here in the states, but
Uh,
I hope they don't. I hope we get like a Godzilla -1 showing. I just want it in theaters. I'll go watch it like 5 times if I can.
don't worry, if they bring it in, we got to go. We're going to Atlanta. I'll personally drive both of us up there.
I'll drive too. I got good tires now. So, all
But I
right.
was, but I'm gonna say this: they do kind of fix Kira a bit. He's not Jesus. Like he doesn't win some of the battles. He loses.
All right. Say no more. Don't spoil it for them. They might have a heart attack in the comment section trying to murder us.
I'm just happy they didn't make him Jesus Yamato.
Listen, that came very close in Gundam Zero, Double Zero.
Oh, Double O.
Yeah, and Double O. Excuse me. Sorry.
Double O is just as much as people don't want to admit it. Double O is all Double O is Gundam Wing.
I don't know. I'd say it's more like Gundam Seed, but then you throw in aliens and all this other shenanigans that should not be there. It's like, oh, the main character and his love interest don't fall in love till like 100 years later. It feels like maybe a slight spoiler there, but
I know
and
I think if you watch the
yes, I did watch the movie. That's why I said
no,
that.
if you it's there's books that go past that point. I think he actually fuses the L's with her to make her young again.
Oh my god! Please say no more. I can't take it. That's enough. I'll lose my marbles.
Like yeah, that Double O kind of goes off the rails in a lot of places.
Great series to watch. Highly recommended.
What was that? I want to say Witch from Mercury.
Great. Witch from Mercury. Great first season. The second season, it's like, guys, you wrote. You went so far left field with the writing on this. Like I don't understand. It had so much drama in it. I was like, there's going to be at least 3 seasons.
Every time I want to recommend Witch from Mercury, I always think about that second season.
That's why I don't recommend it. I will recommend Iron Blooded Orphans more.
Which
I'm
I
sure.
need to rewatch that one.
Which I love that series to death. But I'll always forewarn people: there are some happy endings, but not the way you expect it. People will die in that.
Yes, they will.
There's death.
Yeah, don't get a chance at certain characters because you might like a character and they just get gunned down in a teddy bear store.
It's like Game of Thrones in a way. All I'm gonna tell you is when I say this, it's always bet on the short guy. The short kings rise up. All right. Now let's hit some heavy news, which I know a lot of people are upset about this.
Up in arms about it.
Funimation closing their streaming service. That is, and then on the side there, Crunchyroll and Funimation combined. So I was not surprised that this happening, but since Funimation is closing their streaming service, anything you bought there, you don't get it anymore. I have not read anything about transfers or anything, but also
they've already put a statement out saying that none of your digital purchases will transfer over.
So buy physical media is one of my biggest things. Buy physical media. Yep. I will say that every day. Now, go ahead.
And I said, I understand why people are freaking out and stuff about it. It's like, if you really read, when you buy that stuff, you really read the little disclaimer they have on that, they tell you, you don't really own this digital copy. You just have a license to watch it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they can take it away at any time they feel like it.
The only platform I've not experienced any issues like this is with Xbox. I mean, give Microsoft its props here and there, and also it's when it drives me up the damn wall. But anything I have ever bought since like 360 era, and we're talking about like Guyver, I still have access to all those episodes no matter what. Even an old anime called Virus, I bought like the last episode to or whatever because that's all I wanted to watch for some weird reason. I got it. I still have all my old movies and everything. But, oof. What Sony's done because they lost contracts and all that, and now Funimation closing, that has definitely put a damper. And and on the side, also to add to this, since the announcement of closing Funimation, I don't know if Crunchyroll made the big announcement or not, but their annual plan went from $54 to $100 a year. I haven't seen any.
I kind of expected that because I think that was Funimation's price. But Funimation, if I remember correctly, because I had Funimation too at one time, I think their annual fee was $100.
It must have been 100 for both then, because I mean the merger. I never paid for that one. I paid for Control back in the day when they first showed up, technically, but I left it alone. I kept having my credit card stolen on that damn site.
Well, no, I have it on there. That's about the only thing that hits my credit card once a month.
That was the only place I
Uh,
had my credit card back in the day or whatever, besides Amazon, and that was the only place I kept hitting it. I was like, okay, we're done here. I'm not gonna let this keep happening.
and I haven't experienced that yet. I'm hoping I don't, because I
This
really
is
don't feel like
back
I have
in
to test
the.
my.
This is back to let's see, when Crunchyroll first. Here's the thing: most people that don't know, Crunchyroll was a pirate site back in the day. It didn't become legitimate till like
In the early 2000s
it
or late,
was,
well, maybe like the mid 2000s.
I'd say about 2012, 2013. Oh no,
Yes,
hang
yeah.
on. Let's see here. Let me see. I'm doing this now. Okay. Crunchyroll on when it became on the internet, 2006. But I want to say it became an official, oh, excuse me, in 1994. Holy crap.
It's been around that long.
From what I'm reading here, Crunchyroll LLC is an American entertainment company based in Texas, focused on distributing and licensing. Then known as the company known as Funimation Productions was founded in '94. I'm sorry, excuse me, I had that wrong. I had that wrong. My apologies.
Yeah,
But
but
okay, it was about it was somewhere between 2011 and earlier, because Crunchyroll was a pirate site. Basically, you paid to get stuff from, but on like official licensing here, when Funimation bought them, like looking at Crunchyroll, they put it under Funimation Incorporated, and that was 94 to 2005, 2011 to 2020. Funimation Entertainment, 2005 to 2011. Then Funimation Global Group. It's a joint venture. Very interesting. But yeah, definitely look up the early history of this if y'all ever want to. Very intriguing.
yeah, but the whole anime community is pretty much up in arms about the fact that basically all their digital purchases will not carry over to Crunchyroll. I think if they would have carried those over, I don't think people would have had as big an issue with it.
Probably not, because I mean,
Because
they had the murder and all that, so I don't see the issue. But might be depending on licensing and all that, and that's why.
yeah, because like I said, as soon as you knew they bought though, and they were going to merge, you knew eventually it was going to happen where they were going to shut down Funimation because Crunchyroll has the more recognizable name. So you knew they weren't going to keep Funimation. I didn't even understand why Funimation was still up because they had already started transferring a lot of their stuff over to Crunchyroll. And like majority of pretty much all the Funimation stuff, you can watch it on Crunchyroll. As soon like maybe like a couple of weeks after the merger went through.
My guess would be just because they were trying to squeeze every last dollar out of before they closed it. Be my guess.
The only thing I will say about Crunchyroll, they need to lighten up on the mature content. Because for some reason, even though you have it where yes, I'm over a certain age, I can watch mature content. They still try to blur certain things out. I'm like, no, I'm not paying you to basically blur stuff out.
Oh, don't even get me started on the whole localizer shenanigans. Still, my God, yeah,
Yep.
that should have
It,
just should not be
it,
happening. It's been happening for years, and it still
it,
kills me that Sega of all companies, which, and I understand, like, when you're getting away from the Yakuza, because, I mean, obviously criminal activity and all that, it's very taboo in Japan, and then transitioning over to Like a Dragon, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that. What I have an issue with is that you are like, oh, you wouldn't get this. These are the localizers. Like, you wouldn't get such jokes. This is too offensive. I was like, how do you know that? How do you know your audience? Your audience has liked this older stuff. It has gotten popular. Yeah, some jokes don't land so well, but hey, not every joke's going to. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I think people need to stop being so sensitive about certain things and just do your job and translate and just put it out there. If it hits, it hit. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yep.
And
But
and, and please, people, I've been hearing this from a lot of anime fans. Please stop crying about the fact that saying Funimation has a monopoly on anime. They do not have a monopoly on anime. Okay. I've heard so many people crying and complaining about they got a monopoly. It's not fair. Like they don't have a monopoly. You got High Dive, you got Retro Crush, you got other places that have anime. They do not have a monopoly just because they merged Funimation and Crunchyroll together. They may have the largest selection, but they don't have a monopoly.
pretty much,
I don't think people understand what monopoly means.
most people don't. Now, if you would argue in the West, Crunchyroll, I would say, has a monopoly as being a streaming service offering anime, but then again, you have Netflix and all that, but we're not going to get too crazy into that.
But even with that, you still would have High Dive and you
Oh,
still have
yes.
Retro Crush. It's like the only reason Crunchyroll is what it is because they were willing to spend the money to get the most popular animes. That's really what holds their site together. They get all the popular stuff. But that's to me personally, it's still not a monopoly because you can go other places and there are other means in which to watch anime. None that we are officially endorsing on this channel, but we're just saying that there are other ways.
Pretty much. All right. Now that the hefty subjects are over with, I believe, we have a slightly heavier subject for you folks. Well, no, I would say it's a more slightly light one, but oh, brother, two video games. We're going to first talk about Stellar Blade. My God, if I had a PlayStation 5, I would be buying this game.
I'm already going to pre-order as soon as the physical copies go up for pre-order.
I will probably buy the game, but I want a PC version. I will buy the game to support it because it looks great and everything. Doesn't have any garbage, and the directors are putting out what they want to put out. And I don't blame them for only exclusively putting on the PS5. Trying to do a multi-platform is not easy.
Well,
So
well, they kind of do owe it to Sony because I think at one point in time, like Stellar Blade had kind of the financial problems where they probably weren't even going to be able to make the game, and that's I think believe Sony stepped in and kind of financed the rest of the game.
which that's fine, and I'll give them that. I
I
do hope it comes to PC. If anything, I
yeah,
hope it's
I believe
just.
it will because Sony's been doing a lot more with PC.
I just hope it's a timed exclusive. That's what I've. Let's see. It was on Twitter or whatever. You know how dumb it gets on there. And this is just me being hopeful. I posted. I believe it's a timed exclusive, and that's just me saying it just would be. It would come to PC. Some people are like, no, it's never coming to PC. I'm like, it might come within a year. I don't want to see Stellar Blade sit in the same tomb as Bloodborne.
I thought Bloodborne was on the PC.
No, it's not. It's only exclusive to the PS4.
Yeah, really the biggest controversy is really just the main character in the game.
Oh, they're like, she's not real. I'm like, no, she's that character is a 1-to-1 of a model who's 32, and she is hot. The only thing they've done basically is lighten up the eye colors, which that's fine. They do it in like every video game, just to have more pronounced eyes.
Yeah, because I remember that when they were talking about that she's not real and stuff, and then they put out the picture of the model inside of the little 3D rendering system where they were taking all the 3D images of her to put into the game, and she looks just like the character looks. Like the woman is beautiful. There's no denying that. And I think it's just more so they don't like the fact that they don't like the fact that you can dress her up in more revealing stuff. Because there's one outfit where you can basically you can see a lot of boob physics going on.
They'll get over it. It'll sell well. They'll just have to get
It's
over it.
yeah, it's like dude, nobody cares about that. Yeah, I know some what is it, Digital Foundry or one of the games had said it's a game of a bygone era. I'm like,
I,
look, just because Western gaming studios want to make all the women look like men
no,
does
I
not
mean they're
mean that.
flat. They want them to look like 2x4s. They don't want no pronounced features. There's a difference.
Like I'm like, if I'm looking at a game, I want to. I'm like the director of that game. I want to see the best looking, image up there. I don't
I,
want to see. I don't want to see just an average person.
it's like with Tekken 8. As it weirds me out every time I put up the game, you see Kazuya. Then you click the story tab, you see his like his just his his biceps. I was like, dude, I don't need to see this, but whatever. I know there's some women out there that are just drooling over this, and it doesn't bother me. As I
Yeah,
like all the characters need to look cool, look handsome or beautiful, whatever words you want to use to describe them, to meet maximum appeal. And people keep y'all cannot tell me sex does not sell. Drives me
oh yeah,
nuts.
trust me, it does. Because they will if they announce right now collector's edition with a statue of Eve in it, I'm buying it. I will be the first person in line to get that statue.
You want a 1-for-1 statue?
Yeah, I'll take that too. I don't know where I'll put it at, but I'll figure out something. And that's it. That's why I said I'm surprised they're not gonna do a collector's edition with like a statue or something. Cause like that thing would sell like hotcakes. I think all right now all you get is a if you pre-order you get a bonus you get an extra bonus costume. And I think that's about it. But everybody's so focused on how she looks, nobody's paying attention to like the gameplay, the story, none of that stuff. And I was like, it looks like a bit of Bayonetta mixed with Devil May Cry
Pretty
for it.
much. Some Vanquish thrown in there.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's gonna sell pretty good. It's gonna probably be like a cult classic. I don't think the people complain online is gonna hurt its sales too much. Just like the whole Bayonetta 3 thing. And how people are gonna boycott that and it didn't really hurt its sales.
Well, it'll be fine. I just pray and hope for the best. Or I'm
Oh, I'm
like, or everybody can do like what I'm doing. I'm slowly buying stocks in companies I like. I was like, soon I'll have the power. I'll be on the board.
well, I need to invest in Microsoft. Well, I ain't gonna say Microsoft because I should invest in Microsoft because they actually trying to get out the console business.
They're not going to get out of the console business. They're going to be there. They're the thing. What most people don't like. I know people that do have stock in Microsoft. I have a couple of stocks in like Exxon and all that. So I always see all those like for Exxon, I'll see like the stockholder meeting stuff or whatever, and then they'll see the Microsoft stuff. Microsoft, I mean, they're not hurting on the console side. It's doing well. Do they want to do a fantastic? Yes, they would like that, but it just comes with the territory of the business.
Mm, yeah, but I know they are trying to they're basically trying to get Game Pass on the Sony and the Switch, more so Sony than anything. 'Cause I know they've been talking about releasing some of the Xbox exclusive stuff on the Sony platform, and that kind of having us. It's kind of like half the company wants to do it, and the other half doesn't want to do it. But I
Well,
like.
they'll they'll pretty much just they'll I think they'll stick around in the consoles till about 2027. That's my guess. Like
The reason
if
I
from
say the reason I would say that because the Xbox Series X, I think last Christmas, like you could get them for like $300. I think.
yeah, you still can. Like hardware wise, the Xbox Series is the best. The best selling console though is the Nintendo Switch because just
And
a portability alone.
yeah, I don't really consider it a console.
It's still a console, brother. Now the
It's a
PS5,
it's a handheld that can plug into your TV.
hey man, so is the Steam Deck. It's still a portable console. I mean, hell, my Game Boy Color is still that's a handheld console.
I don't know. I just with the Switch, I just like I look at it more so just as a handheld because Nintendo has not put out another handheld since the Switch has come out because they already got one. It's called the
They
Switch.
well, I mean, they've merged both the handheld and their consoles into a handheld console.
Mhm.
So that they pretty much have made they've made the mold. Everybody's copying it now.
Yeah, I say it is what it is.
Now,
And Sony,
go ahead.
and Sony needs to start actually stop underestimating people because they've got the PlayStation Portal and you cannot find none of them. Because once again, what has happened? The same thing that happened to the PlayStation 5. You
Not
got
enough
people
produced.
you got people scalping them, buying them up, bodying them,
I'm
and actually trying
surprised.
to resell them.
I'm surprised anybody like it's only like within your local area. It's
Yeah.
funny because I can use the Xbox Cloud to play stuff from wherever and have no issues. I just find it funny that little portable thing is for like only within your home. The PlayStation 5. That's weird.
I would get it just because if I'm just like, man, I want to play some games, but I don't want to go sit in front of my console or go in my game room. I just want to sit on the couch and just play. I'm like, oh, I can just pop this out, turn it on, and just play on that.
All right. Um, I will be right back, but our next subject is going to be Suicide Squad, Kills the Justice League. Mr. Chris, if you'll give me your thoughts on that, I'll be right back.
Well, hopefully Joshua will be back soon, but I have not. I can't really get too much thoughts on it because I have not had a chance to really play the game. And to be all the way honest with you, I'm really just not interested in playing the game because the game really doesn't look that interesting. It doesn't look like really fun gameplay. It looks like basically all you do is just run around, shoot people, run around and shoot the Justice League. There's no real nuance to the game. It's kind of just an average. It reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy. I said Guardians of the Galaxy was a little bit better than this one. And then I don't particularly like the rampant disrespect they have for the hero characters. It's like some of the way that they kill these characters off is just like, why do you have to just walk over their grave like that? It's like you get Batman who gets shot in the head by Harley Quinn. You get the Flash who gets pissed on by Captain Boomerang. I'm like, I'm not sure how Green Lantern dies, but you get it. He dies. I don't. This is a game I probably would pick up when it's like really like in the bargain basement, maybe like $10. But even
All
then,
right.
I'm not 100% sure if I would pick it up.
All right, I'm back. So you would say you would get it if it was in the bargain bin. Are you sure
Yeah.
about that?
Well, if some of the problems that they have, and you can't, if it's like the Avengers game where you have to constantly be hooked to a server in order to just play the story mode, no, I wouldn't pick
That's.
that up.
I hope that's not the case, but that's been the case. Oh God.
Like no, that would be a definitely would be a definite no for me. And I know I've seen stuff where people are like they get kicked off the server even when they're just playing the single player mode. So I'm like,
Ugh.
that's not good. And then on top of that, you're talking about the microtransactions in that game. They're like,
Ugh.
look, man, I've already paid $70 for this game. Why are y'all trying to milk me for more money?
Because that's what they do. It is saddening how some games come out. Because I didn't think when I heard the title Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. I was like, they may attempt because it's Suicide Squad. They may attempt. Oh, Brainiac took brain control. No, they straight out killed him. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, even under like Brainiac's brain control, there's no way these numbnuts could do that. Like Superman would kill all four of them, like as if they were nothing, and it just blows my mind that they actually got away with doing it. The only person now, spoilers, folks. I'm sorry. There's going to be spoilers for this, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have seen these scenes already. You have Killer Shark pick up the Green Lantern ring, put it on, and then use it. I'm like, there's
That's good.
no way in hell
I'm like, that's
that
not how
works.
a Green Lantern ring works.
I could see Killer Shark getting a Sinestro Core ring, maybe, but that's it.
I'm like, no, because I'm like, when I saw that scene, I'm like, this is dumb. We all know the second the Green Lantern dies, the ring automatically leaves and goes tries to find another worthy successor. It doesn't just sit on his finger and let
I,
somebody take it off.
yeah, it doesn't work like that. And what kills me even more is that the the scene for like the Flash. This is the only one that feels like it's appropriate. Like if you know anything about Captain Boomerang, that's one of Flash's enemies from his rogue gallery. Flash doesn't really have like I would say a heavy hitting rogue gallery, except for like a few villains. And the only one I can think off the top of my head is Professor Zoom. Like others just don't stick out like some other characters, or like Professor Zoom, anyways. I can just think off the top of my head. But yeah, the somehow Captain Boomerang gets a Speed Force infused gauntlet. Basically, throws his boomerang, he can zip line where the boomerang goes, which is a cool travel system he has. Captain Boomerang's like the only cool character like travel wise. But he pisses on Barry Allen Flash. And I'm like, you know what? That is something, excuse me, that he would probably do if he could kill the Flash. But you know what everybody else does during that conversation? They compliment him on the size of his unit. And I'm just, excuse me? And the one that pissed me off the most, oh here, well, Deadshot kills Superman. I was like, huh.
Does he
That
use? I never watched it. Did he use a kryptonite bullet or something?
he did something to blow up his rib cage. He blew out his basically like just front part of his chest in the upper sternum area. I was like, okay. No, but the Batman one pisses me off the most. And then this was not Kevin Conroy's like last recording of being as Batman, but I'm like, you have Harley Quinn, who has been dumbed down over the past 10 years. Been given the Deadpool treatment, and Deadpool didn't even deserve this Deadpool treatment to be turned into a laugh stock. She berates Batman basically before killing him. I'm like, you have no the people that wrote this, and I'll get onto that in a minute. Harley Quinn has no place in any world. Tell Batman.
Hey, wait, what are you talking about, Jeshua? Did you read the Heroes in Crisis where she beat Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all at the same time?
No, the only person that gets away with that, and that is Alfred Pennyworth in the Injustice universe, where he takes that pill and starts beating the shit out of Injustice Superman. Because that Superman damn well deserved that. Anyways, you ever heard of a company called Sweet Baby?
Mhm. Yes, I have.
Well, that's who did most of the script writing for this game, along with Spider-Man 2.
Yes, now that makes sense.
Yes, I'm like,
That's why Wonder Woman is the only one. For some reason, Wonder Woman is the only one that's not mind controlled.
she dies a hero. Gets any respect because she's a woman. I'm like, she's a damn good hero. You. What even kills me even more is these Lex Luthor files they have. I'm like, Lex Luthor wouldn't even keep files on some of these people. He complimented on like Wonder Woman civilization being what we should have strived for and all that. I'm like, there is no damn way. Because I don't know if you know this or not, Mr. Chris, about the lore about Themyscira, about how they, you know how, do you want to know how more women came to be on that island?
I forgot. It's been a while since I.
This is the, now when I tell you this is the old lore before the reboot of like New 52 and all that, from what I understand. The Themyscirian women would go kidnap sailors.
Oh yeah.
Have their way with them. And if the child was not a girl, that child would either be killed, sold off into some form of slavery of some kind. Pretty fucked up. But I mean, I don't blame them for changing that lore or whatever about Themyscira. But I was like, they ain't no saints on that island. In general. That's
Like,
just
no,
me.
they never really portray the Amazons as being like this perfect society because there's no men there.
Oh, but they tried to write it up as one. I'm just like, you can go eat a bag of raw potatoes for that one.
And then who kills Brainiac at the end?
It's the way the systems work is it pretty much like depending on whoever does well during one of the missions, that person will take the lead on that mission. It's whoever you control.
Amanda Waller stabs him in the head.
Oh, I didn't look that far into it. I don't want to know. But that sounds about right.
And then she delivers the most cringy line ever. Amanda Waller out. Like, Jesus.
What would have even been more funny though if it was the fat Amanda Waller?
No, we have to be body positive. She's all slim and slender now.
No. Body positivity. She would be the fat Waller.
Look, and then at one point in time they made Amanda Waller like slim and sexy and stuff.
Yeah, they did. They I think it was around the New 52 era reboot.
Yeah.
They did that. I was like,
they did the same thing to Lobo. Made him all sexy and stuff.
I just sit here. I'm like, oh, Lobo, yeah, where they made him more youthful. I was like, no, that dude needs to be a rugged biker. But here's the thing. Go ahead.
And now, since you said that about Spider-Man 2, it's like now when I'm thinking about that game, I'm like, that's what makes a lot more sense now. That's why it's so much Mary Jane in this movie, in this game. That's why it's so much Miles Morales is shoehorned into this game.
Yeah, he's written into the plot. Didn't need to be,
No,
but I mean,
he shoved into that plot. They almost try to force you to play him more so than Peter. I'm like, man, I just want to play Peter Parker. Peter
here,
Parker is Spider Man. Okay, I want to play Spider. It's a Spider Man game. I
here's
want
what
to play Spider Man.
here's something I would love for them to do in a video game. And I love this in the comics when it was done back about 10, 12 years ago. You have Peter Parker's always been done wrong in the comics, but I mean that's by the writers. But I mean like when he had to serious stuff to talk about, like he could relate. If I remember, Deadpool did this, and you know how ridiculous Deadpool can be at times. But I mean, I forget who was writing it at the time, but Deadpool had to talk somebody out of jumping off a building, basically committing suicide. Very heavy subject matter. Why do you have Peter Parker painting with somebody with sign language? Like, on paper, that seems like that's a good idea, but that it's not like he wouldn't do that, like doing that as Peter Parker, but as Spider Man, not so much. I would be down because there are important subjects I always believe in, and I would love to see because Peter Parker or Spider Man has done it too. Like it'd be a serious side mission, talk somebody down from like hurting themselves, go get help they need, something along those lines. Not just wasting his time painting graffiti. That's just me, or
Yeah,
painting on a wall or something.
yeah. But every time I think about it, I said there was some reason. I had been. I think I told you. Like when you asked me about how did I like the game, I said I thought it was worse than the first one. I thought the first one was better. And there are so many forced Mary Jane stealth missions in this game. I'm like, in the first game, I think you might have had one or two. I think this one you do about 3 or 4 Mary Jane stealth missions. Even when you get to the final battle against Venom, guess what? You got to do a Mary Jane stealth mission. Get the stone, run out of there shooting people because she's got a stun gun that she's built that has a web shooter on it. So now she's shooting web bullets at the symbiotes. I'm
Oh,
like,
brother.
why am I having to play her right now? Why am I not playing? Because there's a scene in there where Venom literally grabs Spider Man because they completely screw up the whole thing with Harry Osborn being Venom and Peter Parker all of a sudden developing the anti Venom suit because he had a little bit of the symbiote in him and it transforms into the anti Venom suit.
Huh.
Which I'm like, yeah, that's not exactly how it happened. Venom had the anti Venom suit, but whatever. But and then you got the Miles Morales. You have to. There's a part in this where you go with his girlfriend to spray paint graffiti, and they kind of like they kill the audio so you can experience what it's like to be deaf.
I don't need to do that. I can just put it on noise canceling headphones.
And I'm like, this is really dumb. Miles Morales, it's like they shoehorned him so hard into that game, and they already pretty much put Peter after this game. He's in retirement.
Which
He's
makes
pretty
no
much
sense.
retired. He's pretty much retired because he
Makes
needs time. He needs time to absorb all the things that have happened to him with his aunt dying and the city being the way it was and blah 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 blah. So now Miles needs to take over. He's like, I got it. So now we can already assume the third game is going to be mostly Miles Morales. Maybe Peter shows up,
Let me know
and
how
I'm
that
like,
goes when you play it.
I'm probably not gonna play it because I didn't play Miles Morales until I caught it on sale, and I mean it was like $20, and I was just like, well, I'll get it now. I was
It,
not about to play 40. I was not about to pay $40 or $50 for basically DLC.
pretty much. It kills me. They have these amazing IPs, but I mean, it's just to kill the culture. Almost, it feels like it's like
It's more so to kill the original character off to put a new, better, more diverse character in its place. I'm like, well, if you look at the sales, Miles Morales didn't sell as good as the original Spider-Man game. And
it's
it's
very
it's
short.
it's a key thing in there when you talk about Spider-Man games. It's called Spider-Man, not Miles Morales Spider-Man. That's two different things. Everybody knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
I mean,
That's
all
what
Miles Morales is just another Spider-Man, just like Miguel O'Hara. He is just the Spider-Man of 2099.
Oh, and they we might get another Spider Person that's in the third game. Could they introduce Cindy Moon towards the end of the game?
No, thank you.
So they might bring Silk in
Well, she
because
was
they
a
are
weird character when I was reading comics back then. That was such a weird thing for that to happen.
because I don't they because they're gonna bring Octavius back because he's the last one of the cutscenes at the end. And basically like he's got his master plan. We still haven't seen a Green Goblin yet, which to me that's Spider-Man's biggest villain, but has yet to show up in 2 games. I'm like, I don't know why you couldn't just make Norman Osborn the Goblin in this game.
We'll see how it goes.
Like, I could go on. I can really just tell you
We,
straight up. Like, if you're gonna get Spider-Man 2, I would wait for it to be like 30, 20, 25, $30.
Here, I'll do y'all one better, folks. Just rent it from GameFly. Yes, GameFly is still around. This is not a paid advertisement, but if you just want to
It,
try it out, do it that way.
it can be GameFly if you want to go ahead and endorse us.
They're never going to hear this. If I get an email to like within 2 days after I upload this, I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Because I will be saying because GameFly actually does have way better deals than GameStop. And I mean you can get a lot of games brand new, fully with the case and everything. And you can get it for like way cheaper used.
Oh yes. All right, Mr. Chris, do you have any closing thoughts for our folks before we wrap this up completely?
Uh just everybody be safe out there. I always treat every day like it might be your last and just try to cherish all your loved ones. Don't ever try to go to bed with any kind of hate or dislike in your heart. Just
Like
try to
Mr.
live a
Chris
good
is.
life. Like, yep. Just try to live a good life and don't try to carry too much anger with you. Cause we never know when it's gonna be our time.
You never know. All right, folks, you all have a wonderful eating evening. Oh my God. So glad we're not doing this live. Oh well. But we'll catch you on the next episode, folks. Y'all have a wonderful day or night, wherever it may be.